Hello, everyone. This is Rick Latona, and this is the open house presentation of PlasticFlamingos.com, and I'm joined by James Bond, the seller. James, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Before we get started, just to do a little bit of housekeeping for anybody who's having trouble with audio, I want to give them a chance to read this for a second. For anybody who has questions during the open house, please use the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar software and just type the questions out to me. I will ask them when we get to the section on that question, like if I already know that something's coming up, or if there's not going to be on a section, I may just go ahead and ask it right away, or maybe I'll wait till the very end of the presentation, but I will try to get the question included. And with that, a bit of background about the deal itself. This is an e-commerce business. It's a small one that's priced right. You know, it's $15,000 of revenue, $8,000 in profit, priced at $19,300. For more details, obviously, talk to the listing broker, Adam Beebe, adam@latonas.com. We'll talk about that more, though, at the end of the call. But on this call, we want to focus on the site and the business itself. And with that, James, can you kick us off by giving us the background story about this business? Why'd you get into it? What's it all about?
Right. So, background story on this business. Well, I've got. I guess it helps to understand a little bit about what I do for a living. I run my day job is I'm a software director in a very large life sciences company. What does that have to do with flamingos? Well, prior to focusing in on this industry, I used to do a lot of work in management consulting, particularly in strategy and new opportunities. So I had the privilege of working for a lot of interesting larger companies in multiple industries, one of which was lawn and garden and home improvement. And in that engagement, you know, that the ask was to find some niche opportunities that, you know, could be needle movers for them. Obviously, this is a big company, so anything that's going to move the needle for them is really, you know, you're talking $50 to $100 million in additional revenue, right? And so as I was going through and looking at the markets, and, you know, you look at that very methodically, strategically, I started understanding, you know, there were sort of smaller niches that would never be that big, right? So understanding that they would never be that big, which means, you know, clients like this and others, the Walmarts of the world, et cetera, would never be competition in these areas. And so, you know, as it came up, I saw that lawn ornaments was a particular category that, you know, kind of made sense. And obviously within e-commerce, you know, the more niche you can get, the better you can, the easier it is for you to market, because there's really pointed, what I feel like a pointed value proposition. Either they want it or they don't, right? There's no convincing somebody that, you know, a plastic flamingo is in their future if they don't already want to buy the damn thing. And so, you know, as I started looking at this, I said, okay, well, you know, there's definitely a market. It's a niche market, and then also what I liked about it was that, you know, it's in the lawn and garden industry. It's all about, you know, at the time was all handshakes and trade shows. So there weren't really many companies out there that had their hands around e-commerce, internet, et cetera, et cetera. And so, you know, I felt like this was something that I could, you know, I can get into, and with enough equity, if you will, sweat equity, kind of establish something that was kind of an ongoing passive investment for me. And so yeah, that's the backdrop to this, and that's basically how it's running.
And when did you start it?
About 2005. I'd say, like, the website about 2005. There was some work a little bit before then when it came to sourcing, manufacturing, and all that other stuff. But I hung out the electronic shingle around that time.
Okay. And do you drop ship the products, carry inventory?
Yeah.
Tell us about
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I start when I first started, I started by just carrying inventory, and that was mostly because I started with just pink flamingos, and it was very easy to manage the inventory. So you order a whole bunch if they're cheap. Um, they don't spoil. They don't complain when you keep them in your garage, and then I just had to sort out the shipping issues around sizes of boxes and shipping rates, negotiating with FedEx, etc. And they're really flexible. They want business, so they easily give you 20-30% off the top, depending upon what volumes you're shipping, etc. So that's fairly quick setup phone call, and then once I had that, then it was off and running. Over time, as I consulting and such, traveling, wasn't able to ship as quickly as I really felt like gave me that edge. Then I shifted to drop ship. So basically sold down all the inventory, shifted to drop ship, and at that point I also started to expand to different color flamingos. So you'll see on the website there are different lots of different colors, which puts me in a really good interesting place for people that want those different colors. But also from an inventory perspective, obviously you got to carry different inventory levels, etc. Something I wasn't that keen on managing so closely. So dropship made the most sense. Doing that, obviously with dropship your expenses go up a little bit, but they actually turned out to be kind of on par because a box, like a cardboard box from Uline, would typically, depending upon the size, can run me anywhere from like 89 cents to maybe $1.40 or something. I get charged, I think, $2. It was $2 an order from the manufacturer to drop ship. So, I paid extra 50. On net, it's like an extra 50 cents more, but at the same time, I also don't have to have the all the ad burden and/or issues around inventory, carrying inventory. So.
All right, thank you.
So it's all drop ship now. Kind of a long answer to that.
It's all right. It's all right. I appreciate the detailed explanation. I'm sure everybody else does too. All right, so I'm gonna kind of run through just a series of screenshots that you were kind enough to send me, and you're pretty much going to be in the driver's seat. Just tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, sure. So this is the login. So the website's built on Adobe Catalyst or Business Catalyst, which is basically an e-commerce platform. Reason why I went with this particular platform is I like the integrated CRM aspects to it. So within this platform, you can also send out newsletters and send out promotions, etc., to your customer base. Admittedly, I don't do that as much. I think I've done it maybe twice or so over having the site, and they're usually seasonal, so around Halloween or something. If but I like the idea of an integrated platform because it kept for me, it felt like it kept the expenses pretty well capped. Adobe Catalyst costs about $39 a month. So this is the login screen you would see. You put in your email address, your password, and you log in.
I gotta apologize to everyone. One of the viewers asked a question that I meant to ask when you were done talking about this, and I forgot. So I hate to kind of go back and forth. But just as a point of clarification, exactly how many suppliers are you using currently?
There's one supplier there are a couple of suppliers out there, actually, 2 or 3, but I use one primarily. Got a fairly decent relationship with them. They're very flexible. Basically, it's designed for efficiency.
That's good. That's good. That makes it easy. I just wanted to make sure I went back to that before we got too far off on another subject.
Okay.
All right. So here's the next page you sent.
Yes. So when you log in, this is the dashboard you would see, and it shows you. I like the dashboard. It's got good metrics, and as far as like the number of visitors you get, it says, let me see, we have yeah, visitors, your online sales. So it gives you an arrow, the trend. Are you up for the week? Are you slightly down for the week? You know, and so you can kind of look at that as a barometer, kind of how things are going. I typically, to be frank, I don't even look at this. I go to my reports, but this is what you would see when you log in. I typically go to reports, which tells me, what's been sold. What are the orders I gotta print out in PDF form and email to the manufacturer. So, any questions on this page?
No, pretty
Okay.
self-explanatory.
And okay, so this is so what's nice about the platform is that it's a all-in-one platform. As I mentioned before, you can have a blog. I've got a blog on there along with a website. So here, this is the online website editor. So you can go in and click on any one of the particular pages and make updates. I typically only update the actual home page. So I keep that original slide that you saw. It has like a little flyer that says about the flamingos and whatever. I had a graphic designer create about 50 or 60 of those that are all seasonal. So some are about the fall, some are about the winter and the summer and Christmas time and whatever ever. So to try to keep it quote unquote fresh, I will go in and update the homepage, that flyer, and then link it to whatever. So like for instance, if it was a football season, I would link it to the the bundles of colors that relate to a particular football team that may be in the news, or just to that general page itself through this on-site editor here. And everything else I really don't necessarily touch. The blog itself, there's a form, and then you can actually add blog posts and announcements and such. And so it's pretty self-explanatory. I can a quick webinar to train train whoever ends up interested in this. It 5 or 10 minutes, you'll be up to speed pretty quick. So.
Sure, and I assume this is the blog part you were just talking about?
Yeah, so that's the blog. So, different tags, you have different post titles. I've done I think I try to add content around stories that are kind of relevant for flamingos, plastic flamingos, as quirky as that sounds. I typically, you can set up a Google News alert and with all the kind of keywords, and you see what pops up. And then I would have, I've got like people I know who write articles and such. I'd ask them to kind of redraft an article in a way that looks pretty unique, and then that creates a nice little blog post. A lot of times it's how to this or that and the other, or something or the other. And so I kind of use that as blog content, and that helps out with obviously with the website. And then I think you see the author there. We love flamingos. I try to keep it fairly generic and kind of quirky. So.
Stories about plastic flamingos. Well, I guess they made a whole movie about garden gnomes. So.
Yeah, and also what's interesting, if anyone knows the show Burn Notice, one of the earlier, I think there may be a blog post on this, but one of the earlier seasons, he's running through a yard and running through some plastic flamingos, and they kind of get shot up. Oh yeah, those were mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the producers of the show called and said they wanted some, and every so often I'll get phone calls like that of people who
want to blow up plastic flamingos.
Yeah, and
it takes all kinds.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
Back-end modules.
Okay, so these are, as I said, as a platform. You can make it as complicated and sophisticated as you want. Let's see, the module list is pretty comprehensive for a lot of things. So being that this is just a basic e-commerce site, some of the things aren't necessarily as relevant, given what I'm trying to do. But like you can add photo galleries, events. For some reason you felt this was maybe you were actually going to to sell yourself at a trade show or at a artist convention. So you can add that in there. Frequently asked questions and so forth. I mean, they have a lot of modules that really aid in the automation of the site. Some of these I haven't even bothered to implement just because it's kind of self-explanatory, and if someone has a question, it's usually, do you ship to Australia? Do you ship to wherever else, and what does that may cost? So that's
Do
that
you?
can handle that. Yeah.
Do you ship to those places?
Yeah, I've shipped to Australia. I've shipped to different parts of Europe. Something that was interesting, a deal that was possibly what was in the works maybe about 3 years ago, was H&M, a clothing store. They were looking at different designs for their storefront windows, if you're familiar with that store. And part of what they wanted to do for spring was to have a bunch of plastic flamingos in the storefronts. So they were asking me, what it would take to prop up a warehouse full of flamingos in Europe and in the U.S. to service and send to all their stores.
Well,
obviously,
I don't know. I'm not going to complain to be an expert on the or lawn decorations, but I know, like in the UK, where I think H&M is based, right? I mean, garden gnomes, all those things. That's all British stuff. They love that stuff over there. But of course, flamingos is more, I think, more Florida.
Right. But, well, it's interesting, because I always I always try to figure out kind of where people are coming from with these things, because I'm not in the demographic to have flamingos. But what I do understand is that there's some people that like them, and I was talking to their creative director at the time, and they were saying how they like the ideas of the different colors, they can match with the different clothing that they had, and they knew it was something that they were just kicking around internally. And so I said, well, look, if it's something you're interested in, I can easily make it happen. We can negotiate a particular a volume and service levels, meaning maybe we ship directly to the stores. That deal did not actually happen, but what was interesting was that, and this is the beautiful thing about it, was that they said that they may come back to it, which is great, but also I was the only one that they went out for. This was a non-competitive bid, right? And so they did that based upon just the web presence and this is obviously the professionalism of the site. People like that, and it actually made them very comfortable. And then I'm used to doing business to business as well, so I was able to approach them when they responded in a way that they felt comfortable writing. And this was a deal that was worth about, I think, $600,000 as far as volume goes, and not including the other fee I was tacking on from a handling perspective. So what's nice is that as I said before, I was looking for something that was self-explanatory, and something where if somebody was interested, they came to me. If they don't buy it from me, then it's usually because maybe $1 or $2 in pricing or whatever particular reason. And I knew from my perspective, not every customer, and this is people on the phone, if you're business people, you know that every customer is created equal. And so there's some customers who who I prefer to have as my customers, and those are those who are willing to pay for a better quality shopping experience and website and that type of security within this, and that comes at a slightly higher margin price, right? Versus someone who wants to maybe go to eBay and buy this, that, or the other, totally different type of segments. And so and that's how I just operate in general, just because of the time commitment and everything else. It's just got to manage that for the top line.
Okay.
So anyway, so these are the modules. What's the next?
What's next is I must have had a plastic flamingo brain when I typed out e-commerce catalogs. I forgot to put an E right there.
Okay.
But tell us about this.
Yeah. So this is the catalog. So this is where you would upload images of the products. You can add in, if you click down and you drill down within that list, you can add in descriptions of the products themselves, pricing, and all that. So it's this is kind of the module within Business Catalyst in which you would manage your catalogs. What's next?
Uh, oops, sorry, I went. There you go.
Okay, so I did a product dump. So within that, you can export your catalog, and so this is a screenshot of that export. And so easily, if you wanted to, you can easily do a bulk update, bulk upload. I try to, yeah. So that's the purpose of this.
So I can get an Atlanta Falcon Flamingo.
Yeah, so yeah, an Atlanta Falcons Flamingo is basically a group. Again, is about small innovations that can maybe um, drive a little bit more context for the site and capture customers who are interested. So there's a customer segment out there who are sports fans. If any of you are from Baltimore, when the Baltimore Ravens are winning, then you're selling a lot of purple flamingos. And what that means is that, okay, well, each of these teams have a set of colors. And since I've got a lot of colors, I can bundle them, and price them slightly higher, more than, maybe about $1 or $2, than if you bought them on your own. And, customers go for that because it's a bundled deal, and they don't have to deal with selecting the right colors, etc. And so, and there are some customers who say, okay, I'll just buy 4 on my own, and that's fine, doesn't matter. But again, it's about coming up with something interesting and unique that doesn't require full-on retooling of things. So. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But Atlanta Falcons are there. I try to cover all the sports teams because I know they clip pretty high on the search engines.
Sure. What's this?
All right. Reports. Okay, so this is reports. So you go to this module, you can look at your visitors, your traffic sources, web form usage, if you've got a lot of forms on there, e-commerce, which is probably what most people are focused on. But you can see how the traffic trends over time and from a month, a day, or even, I think it goes back a year, a couple of years, something, and see how that looks, see what's coming in. And so there's a lot of different tools you can use, like in the action boxes area, like you can see, visitor loyalty, etc. How many times they come back to the site. This is a kind of a transactional website, so people come back every so often to make a purchase, and that's what's, to me, in my mind, loyalty. But unique visitors you can see and all that.
All right.
This
So
one
here's
is
the visitor
traffic.
report.
Yeah.
Where's the traffic coming from mostly?
Traffic is coming from mostly direct type-ins. We get like search engines are what search engines are like crawlers and such, but people are coming in through like direct, some referrals and some links that we've got out there, mostly through I did link campaigns like 2 or 3 years ago, so I haven't done anything refreshed. So I'm not really sure exactly which links are clipping for the site, but typically they come in through that. There's a plastic flamingos or lawn ornament foundation or something or the other that we're on there. People come through a lot. So
Are you paying monthly for those links, or are they permanent?
No, not at all. Those I haven't done anything with those in a while, actually. I need to make a note, but nothing. There's no cost per click traffic. I've turned all that off on the site just to normalize it, figure out where the site is from a natural traffic perspective, and yeah, it's people come there because they type it in and they see it and they start searching around and end up there. I think I get a lot of traffic from Google and some from Bing, and I'm not sure. I think Yahoo may be one of them, although I haven't really been back to Yahoo in a minute. The next slide. Okay, all right, so this is a scrolling down the screen. So you can see it shows you like the top 5 referrals. You can see the search phrases that people type in that they find to the website. So I've done a lot of the keyword optimization and all the other SEO kind of tactics in the past. Haven't really necessarily done anything. I haven't done anything recently. Next slide. Okay, yeah, this is continue scrolling, so you can kind of see some of those search engines and in the phrases there. This one is search phrases. Okay, scroll. I think I may have scrolled through this. Next slide. So it shows you, it kind of quantifies the phrases. This one is the top 5 pages. It shows you. And you can actually, you see like it's the index page. Most people kind of go through login, contact us, about us. But mostly it's the index page. Scroll.
Yeah, just so everybody who's sending in questions, I've got a little list here that I'm gonna ask at the end. So don't worry if I haven't asked your question yet.
Okay. And what do we have here? Okay, so yeah, these are okay. So entry pages. It's the basic e-commerce reporting. Hopefully, people are familiar with these type of metrics. But you can, if you wanted to, you can dig deep into this and try to optimize it to optimize the funnel where people are coming in and ultimately making those purchases.
Sure.
Yeah.
The next one is sales last month.
Okay, yeah, so this is e-commerce report. Scroll down.
I can't scroll down. This is a screenshot.
Oh, I mean, okay, okay. So this is the sales on a quarterly, and okay, so this is the number of sales and the amount that shows on this particular report. Next slide. I'm trying to see if I show you the rest of the page. Next slide. Okay, so, and then you have the 5 top products, so you can see, like for instance, in this particular, when I ran this report at this particular time, the flamingo, the replacement legs, which are a very high margin item for us. We get a lot of replacement leg sales, and then you have the other items down there. I guess they didn't show up in this report. Then you see the geographic location. Majority of the sales online, and I've got it set up that way, that only come from North America. If anyone wants something that lives outside of North America proper, on the U.S. proper, excuse me, we'll send an email, and then I'll usually send them a quote to say this is how much it costs, and then it's a conversation around sending a PayPal or something to that extent. So, And yeah, this is a graph of sales. So let's see here. So I think I did the
how many units is $1,000 sales? Like, dude, what's your average order amount?
Average order can be, average order is about 35 to 50 bucks. And there's some, actually, you know what, there's some orders, because I sell a lot of what I call the flamingo flocking special, which is basically 24 flamingos for 106 bucks. So I usually get a lot of those. So I'd probably say the average order is probably around $75. And a pair is only $14.95. Those have on a per unit margin perspective, you get more per unit if the fewer they buy.
The flamingo flocking special, huh? So
yeah, so flamingo, yeah. If you're curious about what that is, it's a fundraising technique.
Okay. So what is your? Do you happen to know off the top of your head what your average conversion rate is, or would you have to look that up?
I have not looked that up, and I imagine, if you look at the site, it doesn't get like hundreds of thousands of visitors per day or per month. It's not that kind of website. People that go there are typically, like, they want to, they're either researching whether or not you have the color and the product that they want, or the flamingos that they want, and if they buy, then they buy. So it's pretty, I believe it's a pretty high conversion rate, because we don't have that much traffic as far as people goes and visitors. When they come, what's nice is when they come, they typically buy. And if they don't buy, there's probably a particular reason why. That maybe it's $1 or $2 in the price or whatever, which you can argue. You can deal with it, or sometimes they'll email me around price matching guarantees and such, and I always ask them what the price is, and at times I'll say, we just can't meet that. That's way too low, or ask them to send some verification, and a lot of times it falls off, and they're coming from. They're just price shopping or something to the other. But
okay, well, as far as conversion rate, we can for the person who's asking. Well,
yeah, I can look
if you're
it
still
up.
interested, we'll get you that information after the call.
Yeah.
Similar question. This might need to be looked up also, and it's okay if you don't know the answer right now. Do you happen to know what your percentage of repeat customers are?
I don't know, but I can. That's a simple lookup table. Once I can download the order histories, and then run a Pareto chart against a particular address. But I would say, just to ballpark it, I would say we got about maybe 25 to 30% of repeat customers, because I do recognize some of the names and some of the addresses when they come through, because I look at each of the orders, and it they get familiar to you over time. You get to see who's buying. A lot of times these are folks who are they're enthusiasts. And
all right, I'm gonna ask you one more metric question, and and then after this one we'll just say we'll leave all the other metrics up to a more detailed lookup after the call. Do you know what your? Well, actually, you know what? I'm sorry, you already answered this. What was your average order size? You said it was like $40 to $50.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. I think it's about $40-50. Again, I can easily, pull a report and then do an average, right? That's simple. So I'm just making notes here. I can run those numbers. That's
Okay.
what people are interested.
I think maybe I'll ask some of these other questions while we're staring since we're staring at a slide with bars regarding the actual sales. It's as good as time as any. How do you process the returns? What do you do with those?
So if a customer doesn't want something, then I have them. They ask me, they'd like to return something, so I would send them a FedEx slip with the return address of the manufacturer, and then once I get confirmation that they've received it, then I go into authorize.net, if you're familiar with them.
I think everyone is.
And then just basically issue a refund once they've been sent.
Okay. Okay, I think these other questions aren't actually sales related; they're more marketing related. So I'll wait till the end on these. All right, okay. Next page.
All right, so this page is
it's like a
this
Gmail
is our yeah. So this is the basic email. I use the Google Apps to email, and here is so the system is set up to send an email once an order comes through, and so. Yeah, so this is kind of a catch. I also have it set up to come to my other email account that I check, but I keep this one as this makes it easy transition. So basically, whoever ends up to be the ongoing owner managing of this, yeah, it's just an easy transfer. So I was just showing here the emails that come in directly from Business Catalyst around the orders and such. So
okay.
That's authorized.net.
So the authorized.net's a payment gateway. Who's the actual merchant account there? Or actually, that doesn't even matter as much as, have you had any chargeback issues with your merchant account? Any problems?
No, I have not. No.
Yeah, you don't run affiliate programs. I don't see why you would. Okay, so tell everyone what a day in the life is like running plasticflamingos.com. Walk us through a typical day.
Okay. I wake up, I go to my day job, and then I come home. And then maybe around Wednesday, I will pull up the site, go through go directly to the reports, figure out what orders have come in that past, and usually set it for like the past 7 days, because that's probably when the last time I haven't seen anything or check the site. And once I have that, then you can select them all, select all the outstanding orders to be sent, print it as a PDF, so save it as a PDF.
Can you clarify? You only do that on Wednesdays?
I typically only do it on. I'm being honest with you. I only typically only do that on Wednesdays.
So if I buy a flamingo on Thursday, I got to wait till following Wednesday to have it shipped?
No, I mean you typically, if you buy one on Thursday, I'll check it again on like a Saturday. So Wednesday is the day I typically process most stuff. But if I get an email, if I notice I get a few emails between Wednesday and Saturday, then I'll just go through. And the reason why it necessarily doesn't quite matter from that perspective is that the manufacturer ships Monday, Wednesday, and I think he ships on Friday. And so I just time it to kind of get the most bang for the buck as far as the shipments that go out. And so
and that's fine, and we appreciate you being honest. There's no wrong answer.
it's not.
We're just looking for clarity.
Yeah, you can check it every day on the hour if you really want to, but it's it kind of,
Sure.
you got to balance your, to me, I'm like, you got to balance it, and then also, if someone wants a rush order, then they'll typically will call and say, hey, I need this by Friday for a birthday party, etc. And then like, okay, let me respond quickly and send the emails basically. But most people are pretty, pretty understanding. It's a lawn ornament, so.
Sure.
So on Wednesday, so then once I print out the PDFs, I go through and I look at them, make sure that everything looks good as far as people addresses kind of look okay, and see if there's anything kind of out of the ordinary. That takes about 10 minutes. I've been looking at these for a while, so I know exactly kind of how things should look and what an address kind of looks like as far as being correct. And then once that's all set, then I compose an email to the manufacturer, which is typically a subject and the attachment, orders for a week of, and then attach, and then hit send. And then that's, at that point, I will, if they've sent an invoice, and I'll go in and then shoot them off the cash, or I'll submit a payment for the inventory themselves.
Okay.
Now, what's required? What's as many hours? I mean, again, you can spend a lot more time doing a lot more marketing and promotion of it, and some of those type of things. I really don't. It's kind of set up just to take orders and process it. So.
What if someone bought it though, and they asked you, what of all the years that you owned it, 5 or 6 years thinking about it, were there things that you thought of that you could do to increase business but didn't have the time, energy, or desire to do?
Yeah, there's so I own flamingoflocking.com, and I get a lot of a lot of times these like Girl Scout groups and others come, and they want to raise money with that. That's a site that with a little tender care, what would be nice is you can actually aggregate all the people that are truly enthusiasts around flamingos and have a direct kind of access to them. So that's something that, if I had the energy, I would cultivate to do, because that's a really good kind of driver just for really pointed and intentional traffic to the site. I would also, what else is that I can do that's more interesting? I would also target a lot of like trade fairs, meaning I don't know if you know about like these in the Bay Area. There's a lot of like artist fairs where they set up tents and sell whatever it is, every little thing that they've got. That's a perfect market for this type of product. If I had the time, I would. There are directories out there you can actually find out the people that manage these things, but you can approach those folks and see if you can get vendors out there that are interested in selling these and set up like a wholesale or reseller agreement with them. That's a pretty what I feel like would be a nice quantity bump for you, but also it'll be also again, these things sell when people see them, so it's another marketing aspect as well. Yeah, I guess I would try to think outside the normal things that websites typically do to market themselves.
Sure.
I clearly
So,
haven't thought too much about it, so
and
thanks for the question.
yeah, you mentioned flamingoflocking.com is also owned. Are you including it?
Yeah, that's included with this.
And um, so why are you selling the site?
Basically, it's I'm getting married on Friday, so trying to trying to really just consolidate my all the things I'm doing outside of a marriage from a business perspective to make it a little easier from a transition, and that's really it. And it'd be nice to offset some of these expenses I'm getting hit with left and right around this thing. So it's one of those assets where it's nice. It gives me a little bit of cash bump and a little bit of a nice little tax nice little tax breaks here and there, obviously, and that's nice. But in the end, it's I, I feel like there's somebody out there who's got the energy and the maybe the interest in trying to make this into something really big, or something they can bolt on to whatever else that they've got going, and easily increase the sales for something that makes sense for them. So.
Okay, so a couple difficult questions to end on. The so look, and don't stress too much, because this has happened to everyone. Google Panda, Google Penguin,
Yeah,
hit a lot of people. So everybody who's watching, they're all pretty savvy internet people. They can sit there and they can see this big drop that happened around April 2012. Everybody's got their own tools. There's no secrets really in this business. But you're getting traffic now. You're getting traffic now, so that's good. Out of curiosity, what kind of revenue were you doing before it was hit? In other words, what I'm trying to establish is what is the potential market size if someone was able to regain the rankings that you once had?
The potential market size for
Don't tell me like a $30 billion a year is spent on lawn ornaments. What were you doing when you had your rankings in early 2012?
Yeah, so in early 2012, I was actually actively had my pay-per-click campaigns. I had a third party doing a lot of the search engine optimization and marketing. A lot of those tactics. I was just actively doing work on the site and making that continual kind of marketing investment, content creation, posting here and there and so forth. But I was going to tell you the lawn ornament market size. That's no relevance to this. But the actual market size itself of plastic flamingos, and I know this because I've talked to some of the manufacturers of this. It is approximately about 1.6, 1.7 million, because I was asking about their sales, and this is this is what I was able to.
I'm just trying to establish what one could expect with decent rankings on
Right.
a small e-commerce site about plastic flamingos, not the global market size of the plastic flamingo
Right,
business.
right. So yeah, I know I haven't gotten there yet. What this site was doing when it was fully ranked was about $9,000 to $13,000 a month
Okay,
in its
perfect.
in its heyday. Yeah.
Okay, great. And when do you remember when you last did PPC advertising?
Maybe it was like maybe 2012, maybe 2011. I've got to check. I'm part of the um, the transfer in this is there is a PPC campaign locked and loaded into Google. I just haven't. It's just all paused, so I can go in there and look. I haven't. It's been such a while, but it's been a long time.
Okay, and um, so FlamingoBeerPong.com, I believe, was associated with yours, or you owned that at one time, and I think it was hacked. Is it on the same server as Plastic Flamingos? Is there anything to be concerned with on the Plastic Flamingos site?
No, it's actually on a GoDaddy shared server or shared account, and so yeah, I remember. And I didn't even know it was actually hacked because I didn't go to it. But yeah, Flamingo Beer Bong is basically the website with that sells flamingos with their feet cut off and their beaks cut off.
Got it.
Yeah, and so this is not Adobe Business Catalyst.
Okay,
attached.
so they're two different systems.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We just wanted to verify that. And were you running Google Analytics as well?
The only analytics are the ones that's on the platform that I've got.
Because Catalyst has its own analytics system.
Yeah, yeah.
So you said the only analytics one on the platform. You're talking about the Adobe Catalyst analytics, correct?
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I assume that we can really walk through an interested buyer through those analytics in more detail and show them really whatever they want to see, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a real interested buyer, it'd be simple to set up a screen share or something and show them log in and play around with the analytics and whatever it is.
Right.
We can cut and slice.
For the sake, because I have to have this finished by 2:50, so
yeah.
just to wrap this up, I can really answer the next 15 questions with one statement. That every question that's remaining that's unanswered would be in those analytics somewhere. So my suggestion is to get with Adam Beebe, Adam@Latonas.com, and set up a conference call with James and the screen sharing, and we will find the exact answers that you're looking for.
Yeah. So if there are certain metrics that people want, I can pull those out and share, and then we can try to schedule a WebEx or something to the other and walk people through what that looks like. That's simple enough.
Great. Well, listen, I got to finish this up. You did good. You were very thorough answers. We really appreciate your time. And again, anybody who's listening who wants more details, Adam@Latonas.com. And my door is always open. I may have to go to Adam or James or somebody else, but if anybody ever wants to reach out to me, I'm Rick@Latonas.com. Simple as that. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, James.
Okay. All right. Well, happy hunting, guys. Take
All
care.
right, bye.